Hey everyone, today I'm going to give you a tour of my shop. My shop is a 13 by 12 shop that is underneath my house. This is basically an oversized crawl space that has a concrete pad poured. The previous owners poured this pad so they could keep their lawnmower equipment and whatnot down here. So I turned it into my workshop. So stick around and I'll show you what that looks like. So this is the view from the outside of my shop. It is directly underneath my bedroom and has just these two double doors. This is the view when you walk through the double doors. Directly to the right is my grinder for my lathe tools. This is where I sharpen everything. Underneath there I have some storage. That's where I keep all of my lathe tools, all of my sanding, paper and all that. Then over here I have my jet mini lathe. I do quite a bit of turning over here, and underneath the lathe I have all of my storage for all of my wood that's drying out, and also all of my bowl blanks that are drying out. And above the lathe I have all of my finishing supplies, my French cleat storage for all of my clamps. That's not all of my clamps over there, but that's just what would fit, and just some miscellaneous junk, especially in those shelves right there. And then right here is where my dust collector comes out, and I just have that single hose that I drag around. Since my shop's so small, it's not a big deal just to drag it around the rest of the shop. And then here is my workbench. I built this before I really got into woodworking. The plans are from the Family Handyman magazine. I built them just straight from those plans. It's got a shelf up top, and then the pegboard I kind of wish I wouldn't have used. Then it's got the main workbench, which is usually way more cluttered than that. Then it's got a shelf underneath that I keep all of my tools that I don't really use that often. Next to the workbench I keep my trash can, and I keep that underneath my Harbor Freight drill press. So next to the air compressor is my dust collector. This is a modified Harbor Freight dust collector. I use a chip separator that's the first thing in line to all the rest of my piping. So that collects about 90% of the chips and anything big, and the rest of it gets vented directly out my foundation, out one of these vents that are already there anyways. I just took the pipe and I vent it straight out there, so that way there's no residual dust left in here. And then back here is most of my where I keep most of my sheet goods or anything too big. And then around here, there's PETA. Around here I keep all of my power tools. So I have my, what is this? My Porter Cable 12-inch planer, my homemade disc sander. I have a video on that if you want to check that out. My Delta, it's another little 6-inch disc sander, and it also has this belt sander over here. I have a Shop Fox scroll saw that never gets used. I have another jet. This is a planer, or my joiner, I'm sorry. My 6-inch joiner. And then this is an ancient Craftsman bandsaw that is a little bit underpowered for what I need it. I probably should invest in a little bigger one. But it's what I have, and I'm make it work. And this is my old Craftsman table saw. I bought this off of Craigslist, and it has been a really good table saw for me. I added on this router extension wing. I got another video on that if you want to see how I did that. So that saves me a lot of room without having to have a dedicated router table. And then over here is all of my, well, not all of it, but most of my lumber storage. I try to keep all my hardwoods towards the bottom, so I have walnut, cherry, maple, all that on those first three, and then the rest of that's plywood and 2x4s. So now I'll take it outside. I keep all of my unprocessed logs under my kids' playset here. It's about 50% covered from the rain, so the rest of it I throw a tarp over. But this is all of my logs I get. I try to get as much as I can whenever I can, so I don't always have time to process it all. So this is where I keep all of this. Right now I have a bunch of cherry, a couple of walnut logs, and a couple of hard maple logs. But they'll just sit there until I can find time to cut them into bulb lengths or turn them into dimensional lumber. Thanks for checking out my shop with me. If you have any more questions about any of the tools or how I make do with such a small space, just send me an email or leave me a comment. If you have any more questions about the homemade disc sander or the router extension wing, check out some of my other videos. I did videos on those as well. So thanks for checking out my video and have a good day.